Okay, sixth grade Go Math lesson 2.8. Today we're using pictures and models to help us determine how we can get an answer in dividing fractions, right? So if I took, for example, a cake, and I have 1.5 cakes. So I'm gonna just take my 1.5 cakes, and I'm gonna divide that and divide it by 2, right? I'm going to share it with 2 people. So my 1.5 divided by 2, I would have my improper fraction here. 2 times 1, this is the C method. You're going to multiply the denominator by the whole number and then add the numerator. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, still divided by 2. Turning my mixed number into an improper fraction. Keep, change, flip. I know that whole numbers are over 1. 2/3 times 1/2, because I'm going to keep it, I'm going to change it, and I'm going to flip this for the multiplicative inverse, or its reciprocal. 2/1 becomes 1/2. So if I'm dividing something by 2, it's the same as multiplying it by how many halves, right? And as I go across, I would find that my answer would be 3/4. So what does that look like in a model form? So if I'm looking up here to my original 1.5 cakes, I just draw 1.5 cakes. They could be books, they could be elephants, it doesn't matter, 1.5. So take those, and then I'm going to divide them in 2. So take each one then, and I cut it into 2. So I'm dealing with fourths here, so I'll keep it pretty consistent. And I'm going to cut them all down and then just take 2 equal pieces of this. So I would end up with this as 2 different pieces here, right? I've got these 2 will come over here, these 2 will come down here, and then we get one more from here to come down here, and this one will come all the way over here. So I've taken all 6 of these that I've cut in half, right? Cut them into fourths, and then I'm going to take 2 equal pieces out of this. And so that's going to give me these. Well, when I look back at them, they are 1, 2, 3 out of 4. So that's going to give me my 3/4. Let's just take a look at one more. Some students really like this concept because they like they're visual learners, and they like to take those boxes or those items, and they can start carving them up and moving them to different pieces. So 2 1/4 divided by 2, we've already done that. So let's find a different one here. 3 1/3 divided into 1/3. So the question remains, how many 1/3 would be in 3 1/3? So over here, I just have some boxes that I've made, and I've already cut them into thirds, because that's what I'm talking about here. I've got 1 whole, 2 whole, 3 whole, and 1/3. Everybody see that? 1, 2, 3, 3 pieces for each. 1 whole object, 1 whole object, 1 whole object, and 1/3 of the object. And I want to know, how many thirds can I get out of that? Can I divide this up into thirds? How many will I have? So when I break all my thirds off, I find that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 thirds. So taking the object of 3 1/3 and then breaking them up into thirds, or dividing them into thirds, the question is, how many would I have? So let's see what happens if I use my keep, change, flip method. 3 1/3 divided by 1/3. Well, I am going to turn my mixed number into an improper fraction, which of course is going to give me 10/3, and then I'm going to keep that. I'm going to change division to multiplication, and then I'm going to flip 1/3 to its reciprocal, 3/1, and I'm just going to multiply and then simplify. 10 times 3 is 30, 3 times 1 is 3, 30/3, simplify by a greatest common factor of 3, and I get 10/1, or 10. So you see, I still have the same answer whether I'm using the keep, change, flip method, or I'm actually just drawing out boxes of 3 1/3. Any representation. They don't have to be boxes. They could be cakes. They could be books. They could be anything, really. And then dividing them into thirds to see how many I have. So what we're really looking at are different methods of the same problem solving. I am very open. If you like keep, change, flip, and you just want to use that for everything, fine. If you're somebody who likes to use number lines, or you like to use models and you want to draw them, by all means. Okay, we need to make this information make sense to you. So again, if you're somebody who likes models, you're just drawing models to represent your first number, and then you're dividing them either, so for example, our first one was dividing them to 2 equal pieces. So take all your pieces up and make 2 equal piles, or you're finding how many 1/3 would be here into this particular group, okay? So take your time, show your work, and always double check with an estimation.